Good morning. Welcome back to the FTE Capital Markets Edition 4. I'm Julie Meyer. Today we're going to talk about the existential crisis that men are facing due to women having their own money. I'm going to try very hard to keep a straight face during this broadcast. I ask you to bear with me. Elon Musk, the owner of X and the CEO of Tesla, has recently blasted Mackenzie Scott, the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos. He said recently on Twitter and then deleted that super wealthy women who hate their ex-husbands are one of the main reasons why Western civilization is failing. I find this fascinating that Elon Musk should know the inner contours of Mackenzie Scott's brain and know that she hates her ex-husband. On reflection, maybe she's relieved that she doesn't have to take care of him anymore and that Lauren Scott's on the job. Maybe she's so happy giving away her billions and her philanthropic efforts are making her deeply, deeply and profoundly joyful. It's not at all clear that she hates her ex-husband or that she's miserable in any way, shape, or form. In other news, the chattering classes have come to question whether or not Taylor Swift, the pop icon recently named as the Time Person of the Year, deserves her billionaire status, whether it's fair that she's a billionaire. Taylor Swift was abused by the music industry for years. She was harassed by music pop icons. Against all odds, this woman has created a global superstardom by empowering her followers, by going on tour around the world for 3+ hour tours, the Eras tours, which has been so successful as an economic multiplier that country presidents, governments, mayors have begged her to come to their part of the world, the country, or the state, because she creates so much economic value and so much psychological and social benefit, not to mention financial benefit for the state, the country, and the region. Yes, indeed, she's being questioned whether or not it's fair for her to be a billionaire, whether or not this whole billionaire thing is actually fair. There's a persistent, focused effort to call into question whether it's fair, legitimate, correct for women to have their own money. And when they do have their own money, to be able to bank it, to secure their wealth. I spend time with my clients and my shareholders and my investors, and many of them are men who are 60, 65 years old, and I know them socially, and they tell me about their daughters. And very frequently, these young women are 20, 22, 25, 28, and they ask me to mentor them. And they start off by telling me all of the wonderful things about Patricia or Melanie or Judy or Kim or whoever it is, and they talk about how wonderful their daughters are. And then they say, but they're being discriminated against, and they talk about the bank or the company or the consulting firm, and the word spitting mad comes to mind. And if you're very, very quick, you can get these men who've never given a thought to how they treat women to basically horizontally move across to understanding that every woman is somebody's daughter. Every woman is somebody. I recently had dinner with one of the leading industrialists of a Middle Eastern country, one of the top Middle Eastern countries. This man has been phenomenal as an industrialist over 40 years. And he and I had dinner with his employee, his executive, a British married woman who'd worked with him for 14, 15 years. It was a fascinating discovery and dinner because they have such a powerful footprint in the region. And they shared with me all sorts of insights into why the region is developing. And pretty quickly we got on to why the world is in the state of affairs that it is, in his words, a mess. In his opinion, as a major industrialist in the Middle Eastern region, which is not necessarily a region of the world known for its gender equality, he said that he felt that the main reason why the world is a mess is because men don't take accountability for their own actions and they don't treat women with respect. I kind of had to gasp. I kind of had to say, wow, I kind of agree. But it's wonderful to hear from you that actually, if men took more accountability for their own actions and treated women with respect, that this would make a sizable and significant difference in society. And he said, Julie, there are so few gentlemen around today. That was his definition of being a gentleman, is treating women with respect and taking responsibility for your actions. Now, if you've been blessed and fortunate to be the daughter of a gentleman, you are blessed and fortunate indeed. And for the men in this broadcast that are listening to this right now, treat your daughters with respect and help them to understand that it's normal to be treated with respect. It's normal for them to believe in themselves. Because if you are the daughter of a gentleman, you are blessed indeed. And you then go through life believing that good things will happen to you, being confident in your unique contribution to the world. You don't believe that something bad is going to happen to you when you go out into the corporate or the entrepreneurial landscape. You believe that things are good that are going to happen to you. And you also see the chasm, the vacuum of what passes for appropriate male behavior and what actually is the way that men should treat women and the way that women should treat men in return, with respect, taking accountability for our actions. So it's wonderful to see Taylor Swift speaking about the gaslighting that she's endured for years, speaking about that using her platform. Because the tools are always the same. This persistent effort to try to keep women from having their own money, which has failed with Taylor Swift. The tools are always the same, and she speaks about it very eloquently in her own platform.
Mad Woman. The first time I heard that piano thing you had written, I just felt like it's got these sort of ominous strings underneath it, and I was like, oh, this is female rage. Like, this is a song about female rage. It has to be. Like, I have to figure out how to make this about female rage. And then I was thinking, the most rage-provoking element of being a female is the gaslighting that happens when, for centuries we've been just expected to absorb male behavior silently, right? Silent absorption of whatever any guy decides to do. And oftentimes when we, in our enlightened state and our emboldened state now, respond to bad male behavior or somebody just doing something that was absolutely out of line, and we respond, that response is treated like the offense itself.
Yeah.
There's been situations recently with somebody who's very guilty of this in my life, and it's a person who makes me feel, or tries to make me feel, like I'm the offender by having any kind of defense to his offenses. It's like, oh, I have absolutely no right to respond, or I'm crazy. I have no right to respond, or I'm angry. I have no right to respond, or I'm out of line.
Yeah.
So you providing the musical bed for me to make that point that I've been trying so hard to figure out. How do I say that? How do I say why this feels so bad?
Now, if we were in the court, the courts of royalty and so forth in the 19th century, we would all speak French. And if we didn't speak French, we wouldn't be in court. And if we weren't in court, we wouldn't need to speak French. There'd be a fundamental incompatibility. There'd be a rising to the top, an expectation that if you live a certain life, that you speak French. And so the best way to deal with bad behavior is to treat it as a mere incompatibility of language. You just simply don't understand the chattering classes. If you want to be the legacy of your own story, you need to understand that the cartographers always win and the winners write history. So if you want to be that architect of your own story, you need to draw the map, create the plan, operationalize it, and tell your story. And if you do have any enemies, you need to get them to fight uphill. Madeleine Albright, the former Secretary of State in the United States, had a wonderful expression about women who don't help other women. She said, quote, "There's a special place in hell for them." So it's great that in the year 2024, Taylor Swift is empowering Swifties to believe in themselves and to go forward. It's great to see Mackenzie Scott putting billions into not yachts, but philanthropy. And if you're a man listening to this broadcast and you find it troubling or confusing, I encourage you to reach in and grab hold of that inner gentleman and let it rip. And if you're a woman and you agree with a lot of what I've said, I encourage you to listen to the following clip, The Wonderful Wonder Woman, and think about it. And in a fast forward to the end, she's taking all the fire. Let's go.
Heute putzen die hele die niet konden snappen. Die worden als slaven meegenomen.
Wat is het gebeurd?
Dat aan die andere kant van die Louvre.
Dinah, we have to go.
We need to help these people.
We have to stay on mission.
The next safe crossing is at least a day away. What are we waiting for?
We cannot leave without helping them. These people are dying. Nothing to eat and in the village enslaved, she said.
I understand that. but
Women,
we need to make our next
children.
position by
How
Sunday.
can you say that? What is the matter with you?
This is no man's land, Diana. It means no man can cross it, all right? This battalion has been here for nearly a year, and they barely gained an inch. All right, because on the other side, there are a bunch of Germans pointing machine guns at every square inch of this place. This is not something you can cross. It's not possible.
So what? So we do nothing?
No, we are doing something. We are. We can't save everyone in this war. This is not what we came here to do.
No. But it's what I'm going to do.
Diana! What the bloody hell is she playing at? Engage! Feuer! She's taking all the fire. Let's go! 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 Down! Strike there! Strike there!
This brings us to the end of the FTE Capital Markets this week. I'm Julie Meyer. I'll see you next week.